Hi, if you're new here, I'm Julie, keeper of my home. Welcome to my channel. If you're not new, welcome back. Today I'm flying by the seat of my pants. I am making a creamed turkey and mushroom soup. I have never made this before. I can't even find a recipe for what I'm actually thinking. So I don't know if that makes sense, but I have this vision in my mind. I'm just gonna make it up as I go. So I'm glad you're here to join me and watch me either sink or swim. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up some celery and some carrots and onion. They call that mirepoix. Going to just kind of saute it up in a pot and we'll just get started. Now, like I said, I really don't have a recipe for this, but cream soups are, they're pretty basic. So I'm just gonna kind of go with it, and I know what I want, so I'm just gonna try to make it up as I go. I'm pretty sure it'll come out all right. I just have to make sure that, I just want to make sure it's thick enough, but not too thick. That's my biggest thing. And I want to make sure all of my onions and things are small. I don't want them to be the main focus of the soup. So I'm kind of chopping them up a bit. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to chop these up, rough chop them. That's better. I'm actually going to chop these up in a rough chop, and then I'm going to put them in my food processor. They're the backup singers, so that is what I'm aiming for. So I'm going to get all of this cut up. I'm going to get a bowl to put all of this in. Just going to chop up my celery, my carrots, no specific amounts. I may or may not use it all. I don't know. Kind of thinking along the lines of how much do I need for how much I want. I think that's good on that. All right, and the carrots. These are fresh carrots from our garden. We keep them in our refrigerator. We just wash them, cut the stem down quite a bit, and then we store them in Ziplocs in our refrigerator. And they pretty much last throughout the winter. Now last year, they didn't last quite as long, but the year before, they lasted like 8 or 9 months. I'm gonna get this into my food processor. It's not really too small. It's just right. Okay, so I said we are making a creamed turkey and mushroom soup. So I have some baby Bellas that I just took out of the refrigerator. And these are not sliced, so I'm going to slice them. I'm not sure. I kind of want them, I want them in the soup so that you know that they're mushrooms, but I don't want them too big. Right now, I'm going to take a napkin and kind of brush them off a little bit because they're a little bit dirty, and you never want to wash your mushrooms in water because they're porous and they'll just soak that up like a sponge. You don't want that happening. I'm probably going to use all of these. This is a 1 pound package. Joe actually has been upstairs roasting turkey breast and cut it up for me to use in this soup. There's probably about 5 cups of turkey. Okay, after a bit of hand washing, I'm going to slice these. Like I said, I'm really not, I don't have a plan. So right now I am just slicing these, and I may end up cutting these in half. I don't want them too big, but I don't want them too small either. Does that make sense? So I'm gonna get these chopped, and then I'll meet you back at the stove when I'm done. I got that all chopped up, and so I've got this large pot on the stove, and I'm going to turn it on medium heat, and I'm going to add some butter. Now, I might mix a little bit of butter and some olive oil, I think. I'll do a little bit of both. I like the flavor of that. So I'm gonna add probably a tablespoon of olive oil and probably a couple tablespoons of butter. We're just going to let that melt a little bit, heat up in the bottom of our pan and melt up nicely. It's gonna smell so good in here. So this is all prep for tomorrow. And this soup is gonna taste so good because, you know, it's gonna be made ahead. So it's gonna have all those flavors are gonna be sitting and marrying each other, and it's gonna be so much more flavorful. Okay, our butter is melted, so what I want to do is I want to add all of this celery, onion, and carrot. I'm going to let this cook a bit. Not long, maybe 5 minutes. The beauty of soups, they don't take too long to make. I think the prep is a lot, what takes the most time. I may have to add some more butter to this though. Oh my gosh, it already smells so good. Add a little bit more butter. Like I said, we're kind of flying by the seat of our pants today. And that's okay. That is what cooking from scratch is all about. You just cook with your heart. That's what it is. Just cooking with your heart. And that's what we're doing today. And I'm continuing to stir this because I don't want it to burn on. I don't mind a little bit of caramelization though. That just adds flavor. Alright, to this I want to add my mushrooms. I'm going to get those going in there now that my onions have sweated a little bit. Any that are too big at this point, I'm just going to split with my spoon. They're all pretty much the way I want them. Mushrooms cook down a bit anyway. I'm gonna let this sweat a little bit more and cook down till my mushrooms are softened. And you can see that this is looking pretty good actually. The mushrooms are cooking down a little bit, they're starting to soften. I am going to add a little bit of thyme to this. This is thyme that is from our garden. I dried it and want to add a little bit of rosemary. Yeah, I'll add a little bit of rosemary. Not a lot. I just want a little bit of a taste of rosemary. This is also from our garden, dried. I do want to add some Bell seasoning. Do you guys like Bell seasoning? My box broke, so I had to put it in a baggie. It's just going to give it that sagey richness. Delicious. I'm going to add a little bit more. Oh, it's coming out the back end. Okay, I'm not going to add any more than that because I can always add after the soup is done and I can taste it a little bit better. All right, at this point, what I want to do is add in our broth. So we have some turkey broth. If you follow me on social media, I have a Facebook page and I made turkey broth recently, specifically for this. I made quite a bit and I knew we were making this soup and this is coming off hard. I don't have my little jar lid lifter thingy down here. Well, that is a tight seal. My gosh, that looks so good. I just want to get all of the bits out of there. And I'm also adding, this is the drippings from what the turkey was cooked in. It's kind of like almost a gravy-like. So I'm going to add that in there as well. Why not, right? Let's get this all stirred up. We're going to heat it up and we're going to let it cook, you know, just kind of simmer for about 15 minutes. Just to kind of get those flavors going, get it heated up all the way through. Cook those mushrooms a little bit more. When this is done, I will be able to test it more for seasoning. And we can adjust at that time. Soup has been simmering for about 15 minutes. 10, 15 minutes. It smells amazing in here. It has a nice roast turkey aroma. Okay, now that it's bubbling nicely, what I'm going to do, I also added some salt and some pepper to this as well. I don't salt my broth whenever I make it, so it did need salt. And that's the beauty of not salting your broth. I can season my whatever I'm making better if I'm not salting the broth. Does that make sense? So I always wait to season the dish that I'm making. Okay, so I have in the refrigerator 1 cup of cream and a 1/3 cup of flour, and I've mixed them together. And I'm going to go grab that and we're going to add it to our soup. This is what's going to give it its creaminess. Okay, what I'm going to do is just pour this in. I didn't get any special jar to do this. I actually used the jar that I had the turkey broth in so that I didn't dirty any more dishes. And I love that it has measurements on the side, albeit they're in ounces, but 8 ounces is 1 cup, so I can use that to measure. All right, I'm going to just kind of simmer this a bit. I'm going to turn the heat down a little bit. I still have some cream in here a little bit. I want to get all of that out. See how the color has changed a bit? It's a bit lighter. It smells, oh, so amazing. So amazing. And the last thing we're gonna do is add the turkey, because I'm sure you've been wondering, where's the turkey? Or when is she gonna add the turkey? The last thing, the turkey is cooked. So I'm gonna add that last. There's a piece of flour that's not completely dissolved. Doesn't that look beautiful? I love how that looks. You can see the carrots, they're just lightly in the background. The onions, the celery, but it is the mushrooms and the turkey that are the star of the show. And that is exactly what I wanted. That's 5 cups of turkey. It's just chopped up, like diced. Nice and thick. I think this is going to be wonderful. This wonderful soup is going to be served with sourdough cranberry pecan bread, and I know everyone's going to love it. Thank you for joining me today. I create videos on simple living, homestead grown, and all things home. And until next time.